Hey, ma'am. And a very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you in to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. And it is an exciting time of the year for wrestling and basketball fans. March Madness just around the corner. And of course, we have the Big Ten Wrestling Championships coming up this Saturday and Sunday in Evanston, Illinois, and we have the PIAA State Wrestling Championships, which you can hear right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox, starting at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning and running through Thursday evening. So looking forward to all of the wrestling action and, of course, basketball as well, although tough that the Nittany Lion basketball team will not be in the Big Ten tournament, nor will the Lady Lion basketball team. Locally, by the way, we have just two teams heading to the PIAA State tournament, and that is the St. Joseph's boys and the St. Joseph's girls, both in single A championship action. The boys will get their PIAA run underway on Friday evening, and the St. Joseph's girls will begin their quest on Saturday afternoon. So best of luck to those teams as well. And of course, we're in spring training. We'll have some news here in the very near future regarding the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we'll make that announcement, I believe, tomorrow here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. But some exciting things coming down the pike here with our radio station.
They're already out of playoff contention. Is that the announcement?
Well, you know, going into spring training, and you can dream big, and even Pirates fans dream of having a 500 season. And so that, you know, that dream, we like to dream big in Pittsburgh, and it's like, nope, even we could have a 500 season. That's the big dream these days. It seems pretty far off. And of course, the NFL draft coming up, free agency coming up. I guess Davante Adams did officially get released by the Jets today. So I don't know. I've read a few stories saying the Steelers will go after him or should go after him. I'm okay with it. Davante Adams is not going to be the difference between this team getting to the Super Bowl or not, but would it be a nice piece to have if the price is right? And that's a big if. But if the price is right, yeah. But again, you're not getting Davante Adams exactly in his prime here. But is he somebody that, at least in theory, could help some of your younger receivers and certainly help your quarterback and, again, be an asset to that offense? Yeah, I think that's all probably true if the price tag is right. And I'm not sure what he'll command on the open market at this stage of his career. That'll be kind of an interesting side story to follow.
And is he beholden to Aaron Rodgers? You know, where he went to the Raiders and Rodgers didn't. He seemed like he was a little upset about that and ended up forcing the trade to the Jets. So, you know, if Rodgers goes to the Steelers, does Davante Adams follow, or Adams and Rodgers follow? Who knows?
Yeah. There's a lot to be sorted through from the Pittsburgh sports fan perspective, Goon. I will say it has been a pretty disappointing offseason when it comes to both the Pirates and the Steelers in terms of any kind of moves that make you believe these franchises are going to make a move upward in their respective sports. And, you know, the Pirates in particular, it feels like they're going to waste a whole lot of good pitching here because they just have ownership that wants to make money. And I get it. That's, you know, you're in business to make money. But boy, it would be nice if you had some interest, some proclivity toward providing a championship team for your city and your organization. But there just seems to be zero interest in that with the Nutting's in with Pittsburgh. Very, very, very frustrating.
Did you see that the Marlins might be forced? Their payroll is so below the standard, they're going to be forced to make player signings. I mean, you think Pittsburgh? Holy crap, man!
Yes, but so this is yes, I saw that, and that's awful, obviously, for fans down there. One, there's not a ton of like diehard Marlins fans. Like it's a pretty transient, like it's a retirement community largely, and so a lot of the folks that are going to those games are fans of other teams, and it's like, no, it's cool though. While we're here, we'll check out Major League Baseball, and it actually just adds to the frustration for me, Goon, of being a Pirates fan, because yes, okay, the Pirates aren't going to do that, but so you're stuck where they're not going to be forced to do anything, and they're also never going to be competitive in terms of a championship run unless they just absolutely catch lightning in a bottle, which is certainly possible for a year or two. But there's no impetus there to, all right, we're doing enough that we're never going to be forced to do what they're saying they may do with the Marlins. But there's also just no push, no urgency to, hey, let's go while we have the opportunity here, while we have this Paul Skeens window, let's go out and do everything we can to capitalize on it and deliver for the fans of our franchise. It's just not even a thought within that ownership group, and it's very frustrating. And there's nothing you can really do as a fan, and really nothing Major League Baseball can do, because again, they're not just flat out, throwing it away. Again, they want to be their ideal would be to get the most out of the talent that they can get on the cheap and make a playoff appearance here or there, get fans jacked up, be able to jack the price of tickets and parking up, and then again, never have to worry about paying for a championship team, because that's not part of the equation. That's just
or a playoff team at that. That's what really stinks. I look at Joel Embiid with the Sixers. I'm not a fan of the Sixers. I'm not a fan of anything NBA, so that doesn't affect me whatsoever. But that's an absolute disgrace what's going on in Philadelphia with the Sixers. I mean, I guess I'm on a soapbox here a little bit, and that's like the two sports that are really getting ruined right now. The biggest sport that's getting ruined is basketball. With they've given in to the players so much, and I have a point at the end of this, that they've given the players so much and let the players make the rules, how much they get paid, the monster contracts, the lesser rookie contracts, but the longer you stay in the league, the more money you make. That's great and all, but what's the most successful sports franchises we have? And that's the NFL. And we don't have guaranteed contracts in the NFL. So I'm looking at Joel Embiid making $151 million this year. And that's insane to think about. He's going to play 12 games, and they already shut him down. I saw a thing the other day. God, I forget his name. He played for the Washington the Bullets, or whatever they're called anymore. Ball was his last name. He got $140 million. He played 40 games over those 4 years. So that is letting the players decide and run your league. And, LeBron James makes you, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And the league was okay with that because they were making money. But guess what? They're starting not to make money, and you're starting to see them scroll around a little bit, and the rats are jumping off the boat right now. My point being, this is where I think we are in college football and college basketball right now with the NIL and the pay for play, is that we just can't keep giving in to the athletes because it's going to get taken advantage of. And it will cease to exist. Jeff, when was the last time you watched an NBA basketball game?
More than a couple of minutes worth, like many, many years. Pre-pandemic.
Yep. Do you know what ESPN pays them for the NBA contract? $2.6 billion. They just declined Major League Baseball's ESPN. They declined $550 million from Major League Baseball and offered $200 million. So ESPN is sitting there saying, oh, God, we are in trouble. We are locked into this NBA thing right now. We are locked into this contract, and we have to drop baseball. I've watched more Major League Baseball games that aren't Philadelphia Phillies or Pirates. Like I do watch the Pirates a little bit if they're on, and then the Phillies aren't on. But like a Sunday night baseball game, I'll watch that. I'll put that on television when I'm falling asleep. NBA game, absolutely not. And ESPN is in big, big, big trouble right now with offering paying $2.6 billion for the rights to the NBA. Now, does that give you any idea of why every third minute in ESPN they're talking about the NBA? It's so I'm not going down that route, but that's where I'm going. So I'm just saying with the NBA, when they tried to make the players make all the rules and everything was benefit the player, the workload and all that stuff, I get it. I understand you're trying to do that. But it got taken advantage of to the point where it's unwatchable. Absolutely unwatchable. They're in trouble, and that's what I fear. If we keep on giving into the college athletes with this NIL and pay for play and transfer portal, as I always say, the NCAA will do anything and say yes to anything as long as they can keep their hand in that cookie jar. This is what I fear for college sports, is if they go down this road of the athletes making all of the rules and making all of this money off of them and then, really not having a good product out there. I think that's where college sports will go if they don't watch themselves. I was just thinking about that over the weekend. I was just like, I couldn't believe baseball got dropped by ESPN. They offered them $350 million less. And I just could not believe what they pay the NBA. Could not believe it.
Yeah, that's pretty astounding. And probably not great business.
I delved in a little bit. So I think that Dan Orlovsky is one of the very, very, very good announcers on the ESPN. I really do, because I think he loves his work. He does a very good job with it. He explains it to the common man, but he can also talk to a person who knows really a lot about it. He had an argument with Stephen A. Smith that he did not fly first class to Hawaii. For him, his wife, his kids, and his mother-in-law, that they flew coach. Stephen A. Smith walked off the stage. So I looked into it, and I read the article and this and that. Do you know how much Stephen A. Smith makes, Jeff?
I don't. I know it's a lot, but I don't know.
He makes $20 million from the ESPN salary. He's an announcer. Where's your money, Jeff? Damn. Where'd you get paid, yo?
Well, yeah, he does bring eyeballs to the TV set. Now whether or not I don't know.
Does he or does he do the LeBron James thing and drive more people away than he brings in?
Well, that's a good question. Again, I think ESPN would at least tell you that no, he's bringing in a lot of folks to hear what he has to say on different issues. And yeah, again, it's
he's good. Do not get me wrong. I'm not downplaying how good he is.
He's very good. No, he is a star. There's no question. And there are people that tune in to find out, all right, I want to hear what he thinks on this issue or that issue. And
do you think we need a segment on ESPN to see the fit that he's wearing for the game that night and see what he's wearing? Do we really need to see that? No.
Listen,
for the game, don't be the news.
Yeah, but again, it's part of the brand, and we can we can argue again. I don't think you and I are the target audience, and I don't think they're worried about whether or not we're going to give our stamp of approval on this stuff. And it's just like listen, a lot of things are changing, obviously, very quickly in the world of sports and how it's covered and what folks find important or relevant. And like most people, I'm resistant to change. I don't like change. I just, man, I like things the way they are. Some changes have certainly been good. We're just talking a little bit down here. They have baseball on, the Grapefruit League action, and I don't know if they have any Cactus League action on down here or not. But we're just talking about the rules changes and being able to challenge the pitches, a few pitches this year. And I'm really curious to see how that part of baseball is received, because one of the things, Goon, and I don't know that there's a way to track this or monitor this, and I don't even know. What I'm going to allege here is, certainly not across the board, and I'm not even alleging that it's going to be done purposefully. But I do wonder, all right, if you're an umpire and there's a team over here that questions a couple of your early pitches and they do get overturned. Again, I don't think, maybe there's an exception or two where it's just a bad egg that's out there in the umpiring world, and, well, I'll teach you guys, you question my calls. But I do think more so that it's like, well, I none of us like being challenged like that. That's not something generally people receive well. Hey, I don't think you're, some receive constructive criticism better than others. I'm still working on being better at that. And, it depends too on who's giving the criticism and the manner they're giving it and all of that. I do wonder if you're going to have some umpires, again, I don't think consciously, man, retribution, but just, all right, they got those couple of calls. They were both really close calls. I called them strikes. They were actually balls, or vice versa. But now the rest of the game, once you've used those anything close, again, I wonder if you're just going to lean one way or the other. And maybe it's oh man, all right, yeah, if it's that close, it is going this way. I don't know. I although I like complaining about umpires and their calls, and I don't like, I think some of them are just way too sensitive, where it's like, a player turns around and shrugs his shoulders and it's all right, you're out of here. Or, you see it in basketball now where guys get teed up for like shaking their head. It's like, come on. That being said, and Rich is weighing in, and I'm with you. Umpires and calls are part of the game. Not a fan of the replays. Having to me, and I think, Goon, I don't know what your thoughts are. I think we are heading fairly rapidly to umpires not being part of the game. I think this thing is going to be completely monitored, and it's like, with the technology that's there, they're going to be able to, within a second, tell you, all right, yep, that was actually a ball or a strike. And I do think it's going to change the dynamics of the game, because I do think the umpires and adjusting to the umpires is part of baseball. Now, will folks adjust to, all right, it is truly just this square that is set up, and we'll have the monitors telling you whether or not it is a ball or a strike. Same thing, they'll have sensors at first base. They're going to know, all right, yep, the player beat the ball by a split second, or vice versa, and across the board. I think that's where we're headed. And I'll be curious to see the overall reaction to it, because for the, man, we got to get the calls right crowd. All right, you're getting all of the calls right. I think you're losing something in the process. And I wonder down the road if we're going to head down this road across the board in sports. Now, some I think are going to be almost impossible, and wrestling is one of them, where I don't know how you could take the human element out, because you can't have like a lot of it is, all right, yes, it's my judgment. You have the takedown. I don't think there's a camera that can definitively tell you, all right, yep, that's a takedown or that's stalling. I mean, I don't know how you could do it in a sport like wrestling, but in baseball, I think to a large degree, Goon, you probably could.
You know what I worry about with the umpires, though, is watching. You and I have watched a million hockey games. When they have that even up call, when the umpire knows that, okay, I screwed that one up, I'm going to even it up for you. And now it's going to be, well, I did screw that up. I got called out on it. It got changed, but I got to make it up on the other end. I mean, is it going to be turned into that? When you watch a hockey game and it's 7 penalties to 2 going into the third period, the team with 7 penalties better be ready to start playing on the power play, because they're going to get a lot of calls against them. That's just how I see hockey, and I've seen hockey for many, many years that way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if baseball hopefully doesn't go down that route. And I don't have a problem with saying that I like you have talked about it's a natural, it's the human aspect of baseball. Now, there are people who are really bad. If you know an umpire's name, they're bad. You and I know Angel Hernandez's name off the top of our head. Thank God he is gone. But there's a guy who should never know an umpire's name, right? Do you feel that way also? Because if you know an umpire's name, they're not good. Yeah,
although there are so many people that are such fans of baseball that they do know all the umpires' names. I mean, I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I also, again, I do think there's an element of the game there to, all right, you've got to adjust to what this guy is calling today, or whether it's hitter or pitcher, that, all right, I know this guy isn't going to give me the outside corner, or is going to give me the outside corner.
But that's what they do, as long as they are consistent with it. Any sport, any referee or umpire, as long as you're consistent with it, I'm okay. If you're going to call the outside pitch, then call it for both sides all 9 innings.
Right.
That's where I get upset, and that's like, and baseball players get upset. It's like we have talked about in the playoff games with football, NFL, I'm talking, like, you're calling something for 3.5 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, you start calling ticky-tack fouls. You can't do that. You can't let the guys play the game for that long and then change the way you're going to referee it. And that was a problem. It wasn't a problem this past year with the Eagles Super Bowl, thank God. But you know what I'm talking about, and that is like, as a referee, I mean, I don't know about wrestling referees, so I don't know if there's guys who he calls a quick pin or a slow pin. Is that a thing, or is he very hesitant to call technicalities, points, slow, all that stuff.
So there are guys that'll,
and the pitchers know it. I mean, they're what's his name, Halladay with the Phillies, when he threw a no-hitter against the Marlins. I think it was I don't like him, but I believe it was Curt Schilling who was on ESPN that day and say, "Hey, watch this game, because I think that Halladay may go for a no-hitter," because he knew the umpire, and he knew that how the umpire called a game and how Halladay threw a game. He called a no-hitter before a perfect game. That was amazing to me. But that's how it is. I mean, but as an athlete, you're okay with that. I'm okay if you're going to call the low and outside pitch all game, that's fine. I'll learn to adjust. But don't be changing the rules. And that's when players and managers get upset in sports. But it's every sport like that. So, Ironhead, I do have to get this off my chest. I want to go back to the Stephen A. Smith fit. Let's change you up a little bit. Be the first wrestling announcer in a singlet. I want you sitting on the side in a singlet.
That is a scary proposition.
It's a very scary proposition. Don't get me wrong. It's a
that would not go over
PG-13
well.
probably.
That would not go over well.
You would get noticed.
I think this is one of your worst ideas, dear Goon. I think
you want to get noticed, Bubba? Go ahead.
This is not. That is not the way I want to get noticed. Let me just.
Speaking of review, and I know we'll talk about hockey next segment, but
yep.
How about a headshot? That after a goal, 2 minutes later they go back and review it, call the goal off, give the guy a match penalty, and then put 2 minutes back on the clock the other night. That was amazing to me. But that's the rules, man. Could you imagine that? Stopping the game, and then you played a whole 2 minutes, you scored a goal, and then now all of a sudden you lost the goal, and you are on the power play right now. Holy crap, man.
Yeah. No, there's just so many little things in sports, Goon, that it's like, and it's one of the things. There are people that are, and I understand it as far as it goes. It's like, well, we know that Messenbrink's going to win a national title. It's like, hold on. Like, do you feel really good about his chances? Yes. You don't know anything in that regard. Again, we just see there are crazy things that happen in sports. And, yes, if you asked me, hey, man, who do you predict? Who do you think is going to win? Yes, I certainly agree. He is the favorite, and I very much like his chances. It always makes me really uncomfortable when anybody with anything is like, all right, yep, we know this is going to happen. You don't. There are too many crazy things that can occur. And if you watch sports long enough, Goon, again, you start to realize that there are absolutely crazy things that happen. My kiddo has been watching, which I'm not thrilled about. He's gotten into these YouTube videos, and there's a couple of, I don't know, hosts, I guess, that he follows. But one of them that I do like and get a kick out of is different. They do like the smartest plays in baseball history, the weirdest plays in baseball history, and you start to watch some of this stuff, though, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, you would not think in a million years that somebody is going to run through the outfield fence. You would not think in a million years that the ball is going to bounce off of Jose Canseco's head and go over the fence. Like, it's just crazy things happen. The ball hitting a bird in midair and knocking the bird out or killing the bird. It's like, come on, like that's ridiculous. That would never happen. Well, except that it has. And you watch long enough and you realize, man, it's crazy, the things that you try to anticipate, right? And coaches are, James Franklin talked about, man, we try to be ready for everything. Well, then you had the storm situation out at Michigan State, and we weren't really quite prepared for that. Never thought about that possibility. Now that they are, there's just always going to be something that comes up, and it's like, well, who could have ever envisioned the lights going out at the Super Bowl? Well, you don't envision that. You don't necessarily plan for that. But it's one of the great, I guess, life lessons of sports is, hey, you got to figure out how to adjust to whatever the circumstances are. And a lot of times it's, the teams that are successful are the ones that are just the best at adapting to whatever unforeseen circumstances occur. And sometimes, again, it is bad calls, questionable officiating. Right? All of that is again, part of the sports scene. And I do think I think we're heading toward the human element not being as involved on the officiating front. And I'm just not sure at the end of the day
I'm not happy about that.
That it's going to actually make the product any better, right? In some ways, I think it'll make it a more sterile environment. And I'm not sure sports is where you want everything to be nice and neat. And even with that, I mean, that obviously isn't going to be that. But, I guess it's going to make it a lot harder to question a ball or a strike. It's like, well, no, that just definitively is. The computers, aren't going to lie. And I probably somewhere along the line you'll have a glitch or something, and I'm sure you're going to have some kind of problem somewhere along the way.
Right now, our society is. I want my answers right now. I want the answer correct right now. There's no human element that there's going to be a mistake. Like, I don't have an answer for you right now, but as the game goes on, it'll appear. But we need to know right now, instant gratification. And that's our society, and that needs to change, but it's not going to. Listen, if an umpire makes a bad call, he makes a bad call. And you ride his ass a little bit, You're up in the crowd. You get going a little bit, but they'll make it up. That's what they do, and that is the human element of the whole thing. And I think that we're going to lose that. I mean, now are we doing the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League? Are they just testing this stuff out now, or is that going to go into play this year?
They have
elements of it, or not the whole thing, right?
Correct. I think it's 2. I'll have to look it up, Goon. I honestly haven't followed it closely enough, but I think it's 2 or 3 pitches when we get to the regular season that you will be able to challenge per game, is my understanding. I'll try to look it up during the break because
the manager has to make that, because I haven't watched a preseason game yet. I'm sorry. We live out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the team gets the option. I don't know if it's specific who has to make the challenge, or if just anybody on one team can say, "Hey, we want to review that one." That I'm not positive on. I'll look it up here.
I'm really not a fan. I'm okay with the play it first or the tags. I'm okay with that because there are bang bang plays, and there are, but the balls and the strikes, man. I mean, that's baseball, dude.
I agree with you. But there is the crowd that, man, we just got to get it right. We have the technology to get it right. Let's get it right.
Is there?
I think at the end of the day,
there, or is just there's some people, everybody, but it's like 11 people complaining.
No, I mean, I think there are. It would be interesting. I don't know if there's a poll out there anywhere that would do it. My guess is there's a good. I don't know if it's a majority, but I'll bet it's a good portion of sports fans are like, well, no, if we can get the calls right, let's get them right.
Okay, well, as a disgruntled Flyers fan,
it's not completely an unreasonable take, but again, in any sport, I mean, even in baseball, like there are obvious balks where it's like, all right, that's a balk. Everybody agrees, but sometimes you have, I think that is. I mean, you're still going to have some judgment calls, but a lot of the stuff in baseball, I think if you get the right equipment and right monitors in place, if the objective is just to get the call straight out right, I think you can do that more often than not. And again, there's going to be some situations here where there's still some judgment involved, but that's across the board in sports. You're still going to have some, I think, human element making the determination on some of the issues. But I think we may be heading fairly quickly to a world where a lot of this stuff is taken out of the human's hands, if you will. We'll take a break here. We are back with much more. It is our Tuesday afternoon edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are here at Quaker Steak and Lube. By the way, if you come on down to the Lube today, the all-you-can-eat wing buffet gets underway at 4 o'clock. Love what they have done with the place. The new flooring is pretty doggone impressive here, dear Goon. Upgraded chairs. It's really a nice feel to the Lube. They've done some pretty substantial upgrades here just within the last week, and it is impressive. Again,
so
we're
I can
back
sit
with
in the chair and not fear I'm going to shatter the plastic chair going through
that.
the floor.
I think you are in good shape now here with these chairs. We're coming back with much more from Quaker Steak and Lube right after this.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox, the Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on a Tuesday afternoon. All right, real quickly, it is the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher that can challenge a strike call using the automated ball strike challenge system, the ABS. The challenge must be made immediately after the umpire's call. Each team begins the game with 2 challenges. A challenge must be made without assistance from the dugout or other players. Again, I'm not 100% sure how you determine that. If a player takes too long to signal a challenge, the umpire can deny the request, and a successful challenge can change the call, and teams can keep the challenge then. A failed attempt forces a team to lose one of its challenges. So those are the rules that are in effect this year. The ABS, by the way, clarification on exactly what that is. Set of cameras placed around the ballpark to determine the location of a pitch when it is crossing home plate. Computer animated replay plays on the scoreboard to announce the outcome of the challenge. The entire process, they say, takes about 15 to 20 seconds.
Now, did I swing or didn't I swing? Is that reviewable? Did he check his swing? Was it a swing? Is that reviewable last year or not? I don't recall, bro. Yeah.
I'm looking up here to see if they
did he go or did he not go. Is that one of the reviews that you can request, or has that actually been done before? I don't know. Every year it damn changes, you know.
I'm gonna see if we can get what.
Yeah, I got you. We can go. I can get it off.
World we live in, where you can just look this stuff up very quickly.
If you just had the technology at our fingertips to be able to look something up, I mean, geez.
It is. It's absolutely amazing.
I got to look up the Flyer or the Phillies Pirates series when they play, man. Hopefully it's a weekend. We'll head down to Pittsburgh or down to Philadelphia for the weekend and watch some games. Major League Baseball is testing a check swing challenge system. The system is currently being tested in the Arizona, well, this must have been earlier, Fall League. I don't know if the check swings are part of this or not. Because that always seems to be a real pain in the butt right there. But, you know,
yeah,
again,
I guess you can, because they, with the same, slightly different version of the same system, but it'll be an angle from above, and so they'll make the determination. So yes,
you got a couple seconds to get 20 seconds to get that done. So as a manager, you're really relying on your first and third base coaches to see if they swung or not. You know?
Well, no, it's not. They're not the manager. No, the manager has no say in it.
Well, I'm saying that, you know, or the batter, they're going to look down at the third base or the first base to say, did I go or not?
No, they can't. They can't. That they need to immediately. Hey, I didn't go. They can't check with other players or with coaches, and it's only the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter, and it has to be. They're saying instantaneous. Now I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. Oh wow.
2 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm guessing by the time the catcher gets the ball back to the pitcher, it's going to be probably too late. I think they're saying you need to challenge. Umpire makes the call, you turn and hey, I don't think that was the right call. Boom. It has to be.
You got a hot-headed batter who's out there. He's going to say challenge that. He goes through 2 and yeah.
Well, it will be interesting. That is going to be one of the things I think to kind of watch early in the season is with everything in baseball, right? It's all strategy. So do some teams say, hey, I don't care how obvious it is, we're not challenging anything in the first 3 innings. Or, do other teams, hey, yeah, if you feel confident it's a bad call, or do you, hey, veterans, you have the green light to challenge at any time. Rookies, no. First 3 innings, first 5 innings, you're not challenging. Don't do it. It'll be.
It's like watching pass interference in the NFL. Pass interference in the NFL. Every defensive back says I didn't do it. Every receiver says you did do it. All 4 of those calls will be gone in the first quarter in the NFL. Done. Because of the hot-headed players. Interesting. That's a good idea, though, what you just said. Hey, no review unless you're 100% sure in the first 3 innings. Wow.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good point, though. Did you bring it up on your own?
Well, yeah.
A lot of stuff in that head of yours, Ironhead. Wow.
Oh, there's a whole lot up here. A whole lot that very few people want to know about.
It just doesn't come out.
Nobody. Goon, the beloved Penguins again are just kind of playing out the the season here for no apparent reason at this point. Your Flyers, however, have been playing very, very well since the Four Nations tournament, and both teams are in action tonight. See if the Flyers can keep it rolling. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure I much care one way or the other with the Penguins. It's a lost a season of lost opportunity for the Penguins franchise, and this does feel kind of like the definitive end here of the. Although Malkin says he wants to come back, Crosby, but at this point, and it's kind of like the Steelers too. And I was listening to some discussion over the weekend on the Steelers, and there is a little frustration here because the thinking is, man, to make that next big step forward, you really have to take a couple of steps back in terms of getting some higher draft choices. I don't know that that's really necessarily the case anymore, just with the way free agency works now. And honestly, Goon, we see plenty of teams get big-time contributors like future Hall of Famers in the second, third, fourth rounds. I don't know that, depending on your needs. Now, for the Steelers, to me, it really, there's certainly several needs, but it's finding that future quarterback and the guy that can lead your franchise for 10 to 12 years and be a guy that can kind of will your team or bring the rest of your team along because of his leadership skills and his talent. And I continue to be pretty convinced that neither Russell Wilson, Wilson clearly is not your long-term answer. And I'm just not sold to Justin Fields. I think we have enough of a sample size here, Goon. I just don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Now, could he be better than what some like me are projecting? Maybe, but I don't think he's going to be one of those top guys. And anymore, if you're going to be shooting for the Super Bowl, you need a dynamic force. And again, I'm still high on Jackson Dart, and I'm seeing different draft projections on both where he'll go and where the Steelers will take him. There's been a lot of different opinions now in Shedeur Sanders as well. And I will just say, again, I'm wrong 90% of the time, so take it for what it's worth, which is absolutely nothing. But I got to tell you, dude, if I was and we can all thank our lucky stars that I'm not, but if I was the GM of the Steelers or any team, I think I would take Jackson Dart before Shedeur Sanders in terms of a quarterback and what I think he'll be able to achieve at the next level.
Yeah. And then the sideshow circus that comes with the Sanders name is,
well, that's
I don't want to sign up for that as an NFL team. I don't see it. I didn't see it when he was playing. I think that Hunter was an unbelievably good football player. He won the Heisman last year. He is a top 2 or 3 pick, yes, but the Shedeur Sanders, I never saw it. I just don't see it. I just thought it was a lot of fluff and a lot of Dion doing this and daddy ball and stuff like that. And I just didn't like the kid's attitude type of thing with the whole wristwatch thing and all that crap. So I don't see that. It doesn't correlate to the NFL, in my opinion. You're a leader of men. You're the quarterback. Your teammates are looking up to you and saying, are we in this game still or not? And you're over there, it doesn't matter to you, in my opinion. I think that he'd be more worried about getting a paycheck type of thing. I don't like it. I don't see it. But Jackson Dart, once you mentioned that to the Steelers, I thought that's a hell of a pick right there. And it's a perfectly slotted pick. I don't think you got to come up for it or down for it. I think he's gonna be there for you. But yeah, I would take I'd take a chance on that over the Shedeur Sanders sideshow, and because Deion's going to be involved. His kids are gone out of Colorado. I just don't think he's long for the University of Colorado. I do not. I really don't. I think that he will work his way into the NFL somehow, and he wants to coach his kids. It's the ultimate daddy ball, and now he's going to do it at the professional level. And the Steelers are not signing up for that. They've had enough sideshow antics the last 15 years with some of their players that the Rooneys don't want that headache, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think that's correct, and certainly hope that's correct. Jimmy Johnson announcing his retirement from Fox and their pregame and postgame stuff. 31 years, Goon. I don't know about you. It just caught me completely off guard. I knew it had been a while, but 31 years makes me feel really, really old because it just does not seem like that long ago that Jimmy Johnson was coaching the Cowboys, or even that long ago that he was coaching Miami. And 31 years, though, just in the studio there for Fox. He certainly had a lot of fun. I think he brought a great energy to that show. I liked him much more as an analyst than I did as a coach. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. My feeling on the NFL pregame shows, the yuck fest that go on. I just don't feel he felt comfortable in that. But he did it for 31 years. And I'm in my head thinking like, okay, well, he only coached the Cowboys for 5 seasons. He got there in 89 and he was gone by 94, 95 because Switzer was there then. And I don't know how long he was coaching the Dolphins, but 31 years.
Yeah.
31 years.
That's
amazing to me.
That it was that long. I just had no idea. It just does not seem like he could have been out of coaching for that long to me. But time does fly.
How was it 31 years if he got it in 94? But then he went to the Dolphins, didn't he? Did he coach?
I think that was before. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. 31 years like that.
And then I saw the thing of Bradshaw. He's been there a long time. Terry Bradshaw's an older man. He's been there a long time.
Well, Scott Geezy brought up on our morning show, like how much longer do you think Bradshaw is going to be going? There's been rumors with his health and different things. I think Bradshaw still enjoys it so much that
I think he always has.
Yeah, I don't think he's unless physically he just has to. I don't think he's going to give it up unless he just physically can't, or Fox goes to him and says, "Hey, I think we've probably had our run here." I just I don't know. The impression I get anyway is that he just enjoys it an awful lot, and I'll be surprised if he follows suit at least ahead of this season. Again, you never know with health issues and that sort of thing. But I think he'll keep rolling with it as long as he can. Now, that might not be much longer that he can do it, but I think they'll drag him out of the studio. I think he just has too much fun with it.
Yeah.
Of course, I thought that was Jimmy Johnson, too. Jimmy Johnson, and Johnson said he's had more fun doing that than he did winning a Super Bowl. He said it's just been more fun for him. But I think, 81, and he's a guy that does have a bunch of different interests and different business entities pulling on him. So I'm he'll keep busy, and I'm guessing it had as much to do with just clearing up the schedule a little bit as anything for Jimmy Johnson. I don't think Terry Bradshaw is really looking to clear his schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it. I mean, look at. I mean, how do I? The NFL playing career is getting shorter and shorter because they're making so much more money in early.
Yep.
So like Terry Bradshaw was never on that gravy train, so he doesn't have that like FU money, as they would call it, type of thing. But I don't think it's a money thing with Bradshaw personally. I just think that he really enjoys being around the guys and interviewing guys and stuff like that and being at the game. I really think he's good at it. Jimmy was wanted to be a fisherman, man. He wanted to go out in his boat, and he could do that. He had to work, 2-3 days a week probably out in LA.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a great
4 days he's in South Florida.
Yeah. No, I think it was a great gig, and probably worked out well for both parties. Very well at the end of the day for both parties. We're going to take a timeout here. When we come back, we'll talk a little more Penn State hockey, Penn State men's and women's hockey with big weekends coming up, and some Penn State wrestling. The pre-seeds will come out tomorrow for the Big Ten Wrestling Championships, and of course, Big Ten tournament will be on
cross your fingers. I don't know.
And Sunday. So we'll preview some of that action when we return. It is a Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fall.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, Hunting Gas.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7. The Fox. State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on a Tuesday. Quaker Steak and Lube getting ready for the all-you-can-eat wing buffet, which will be getting underway right as we go off the air at 4 o'clock. Jed Donahue and the Pennsylvania Sports Network will follow our show here this afternoon, and then we'll join Fox Sports at 6. Reminder, we do have PIAA State Wrestling Championship action coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from Hershey. Todd and Norm Brown will have complete coverage of all of the action for you here. And everything will get underway at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. So 9 o'clock Thursday morning, we will kick off our coverage of the PIAA State Championships. Penn State hockey, Goon, both the men and the women's team. Women's team will be in the AHA championship game Saturday at 2, and the men will be at Michigan. Men will go in as the 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll be at Michigan in a best-of-3 series in Ann Arbor starting Friday night. Been a fun hockey season here in Hockey Valley.
Fun second half of the season.
For sure. For sure.
But the women's team has been fantastic, and they're going there, second round now. So, both really good teams to watch. I mean, I watched that game. I've been into the hockey for a while now, but the men's hockey. But those games this weekend, man. I mean, we're coming off the Four Nations, which was the best hockey I've seen since 1996, in my personal opinion. It was awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed watching those games, and I was dreading watching the next few games I'd watch in hockey, because it'd be like going from watching a super speedway race to a half-mile track. You know what I mean? In a NASCAR type of world, where, you know, everything looks a little bit slow. But I'll tell you, man, the intensity, the hitting, the every play was great. Every save, every shot was great. What a series this past weekend that Minnesota and then Penn State put on. Fantastic job. Minnesota deserves, a little piece of that Big Ten crown, because they came in to a very tough environment on senior night and had to get the win, and they did. But like I said last week and the week before, I don't know if I want to be facing Penn State right now. And the fact that people were saying that across the country on the Big Ten network, on Twitter and stuff like that, saying, how tough they are and how good they are and a tough out that they're going to be. So Michigan has got a lot to worry about this coming weekend.
Yeah, this is, it's going to be, it sounds like, listening to the analysts, Penn State has an outside shot of getting in with a loss to Michigan, but it sounds more likely like Penn State will be one of the first teams left out of the NCAA championship if it does not get the series win over Michigan. If Penn State it sounds like they're, again, it's not absolute lock, but it seems pretty solid that Penn State is in. They seem to think Michigan's got a pretty good shot either way, certainly in if they beat Penn State. But Michigan has a stronger overall resume, obviously, as the 4 seed compared to Penn State's 5 seed to get into the NCAA tournament, even if they lose this series. Again, not guaranteed, but more likely than not, I think, for Michigan. Penn State feels like if it loses this series, they're really on the fence. in terms of whether or not they'll.
If they get swept, is what I had heard. If they were going to get swept in this series, lose 2 to Michigan right away, then they would probably be on the outside looking in. But if they can get at least one game out of this series, it looks a lot better for them getting in. But screw that. Let's go for the series, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if they win this series again, it looks very good for them getting into the tournament. And I think you're right, Goon. This is just a team that is going to be very dangerous and a very tough out if it does get into the NCAA tournament. The way they've been playing, the aggressive nature of their play, and it's one of those things where it is a young team and they've played themselves into being a very good team, but they do have some key upperclassmen leadership and players who have obviously done very big things here throughout their collegiate career to kind of lead the way. And obviously what they've been able to do, what Arseny Sergeyev has been able to do in goal is why you really feel like they have a real shot here of winning the whole doggone thing if they can just get into the NCAA tournament. And again, if they can take care of business here in Ann Arbor, it feels like they will get in and have that opportunity. And I don't think there's a team that's playing better. There might be some teams, Minnesota might be one of them that are playing as well as Penn State. I don't think there's anybody in the country, though, that's playing better hockey right now. And I think you saw it. I mean, over the last 2 weekends, they played 2 clear, legitimate national title contenders at Michigan State and then home with Minnesota. And they got a couple of non-regulation victories, and then 1 regulation victory and 1 regulation loss, all games that could have gone either way, all 4 of them just terrific college hockey matchups. And so I think that, but Penn State finding a way to win 3 of those, Goon, is not insignificant when the postseason is here. So I'm excited to see what this team does. And, it still has a chance to be an historically great season here for Guy Godowski's program.
Yeah, we always talk about how a hot goalie is great going in and, you're playing at a playoff energy. Penn State's been playing at playoff energy since February. They've been on this, hey, we got to win. The run that they went on is just absolutely amazing. And, everybody in the college hockey world and in the hockey world. I mean, you got John Buchagros from ESPN, calling State College, and Penn State's the best student section in the country. And just what an atmosphere that the Pagula Arena is. I mean, that's awesome stuff, man. And I love the fact that we're, in this situation, in Guy we trust, because he they were struggling early, but as Alan had said, and we had talked about for a couple of years now, is how he gets these guys rocking and rolling. So for the playoff ramping up, and how he had those guys, and they made that commitment after the New Year's, and what they've done since. Again, I do not want to play Penn State, Michigan. I'm sure they're sitting there saying, okay, well, these guys are hot. We got to get, we got to do this, we got to do that. And they don't know what they have to do, because it's going to be a steamroller coming out there on Friday night.
Yeah, and listen, I like Penn State's chances of winning the series here in Ann Arbor. I really do, and hard not to with the way they played down the stretch. Obviously, Michigan's a very good team as well, and certainly a team that's capable of doing some real damage in the NCAA tournament as well. But again, to me, right now, Penn State is playing as well, if not better, than anybody in the country. And I just think, it's a combination of things. And I talk about the same combination of things when folks are asking me about the reasons for Penn State wrestling success. But you start with they have a really talented roster. Like Guy Godowski has a bunch of really good hockey players. Well, that's a good place to start if you're going to try to build a championship hockey team, is get a bunch of players that know what they're doing. I think they're now playing with a ton of confidence as well. They understand now what their roles are, what they need to do, what they're capable of doing, and they believe they're going to go out and do it. And it doesn't matter if it's Michigan State, Boston College, Minnesota, whoever you're going to put in front of them, and wherever you're going to put the game. I think this team believes, all right, now we know how to go out and win, and we will win. And I think they're playing really smart hockey right now. The 5-minute major against Minnesota notwithstanding, and again, it was one of those, I was a little surprised that I'm not saying the major wasn't warranted. I thought there should have at least been a penalty against Minnesota as well, and at least have some 4-on-4 there for a bit. Regardless, this team has been pretty disciplined this whole second semester of the season, and I really think they have bought into Guy Godowski's approach. They believe in it. And again, they now know how to execute it. And I think the other thing here, Goon, is I think they both have confidence, and they also know they have no pressure on them. I mean, in terms of outside expectations, they can just go play freely. A Minnesota or a Michigan State, they have some high expectations for this season. And you wonder sometimes if, that pressure was getting to Michigan State a little bit in that Penn State series, if it'll get to them in the postseason. I just think Penn State is like, nope, we have an opportunity here to go shock the world and go win a national title. Let's go have fun, strap up and do it. And I think this is an extremely dangerous team for the rest of the NCAA. And I'm just super pumped to see what happens, Goon, because I'm almost at the point where I'm expecting them. And again, I understand as we sit here right now, there is zero assurance that they are even in the NCAA tournament. I'm telling you, as we sit here even right now, I feel really good about this team's chances of getting to the Frozen Four. And if you get to the Frozen Four, Goon, then, I mean, all bets are off. Anything can happen. I love the way this team has come together, the way they're playing, the way I've caught a couple of the post-game interviews now, and they're like, yeah, we want to just go win a national title now. Like, we don't want this to be the end of the road, and man, that was a great run you had. We want that great run to be, and you won Penn State's first national title. I love the attitude. I love the play. And again, it starts with you have a lot of talent on that roster.
Yeah, and they're playing. I mean, they're selfless is what they are, because, I mean, can you name top players on that hockey team? I really don't think so, because you got 3-4 lines rolling out there. Everybody is rolling and playing.
Yeah, huh? Aiden Fink could win.
Oh yeah, he's up there for the Hobie Baker. I get it, but it's like they're rolling 3 and 4 lines out there, and it's like constant pressure on the defense and on the goalies. So it's one of those things you don't want to match up with them, because you really can't, because they do have depth and they're having fun. And you, like you just said, the players' interviews and guys' interviews, and I talked to Guy in between, and I love Guy. He's so fun to talk to. His players, they're out there having fun, and that's just like, what's better than that? Going out and having fun and playing hockey, winning games by having fun. They're awesome. They're so fun to watch. But, I mean, win, lose, or draw versus Michigan, I think that, if they get in, you're right. I would not be surprised if they do make a run to the Frozen Four. And that's just amazing for Penn State. For Guy Godowski and for this team, because of where they were. But then, our history sort of still new. I was talking to my brother-in-law this weekend, about it. And he was like, well, who are some of the big teams And I'm like, your normal Big Ten teams are there, but then, you get up into the Northeast and in the upper Midwest, and there's teams at schools you never even heard of, that are really good at hockey. And it's a foreign thing to a lot of Penn State fans, but it's not. We all know hockey because we're all Flyers and Penguins fans and this and that, but the brand of hockey that the Penn State guys are playing right now is absolutely awesome. They are so freaking, I was super looking forward to watching those games on Friday and Saturday. I was just like, biting my time. I could not wait to watch those games. How fun they are to watch. I think getting rid of Weiser was the best move that Godowski made last year. Get rid of Allen.
Clearly the difference maker. Allowed them to get over the hump.
Did you just see the news come flash across your phone, Jeffrey?
Did not.
Saquon Barkley, 2-year extension, $41.2 million. Good job, Saquon. Congratulations, baby.
Yeah.
So they extended him 2 years, $41.2. Woo! Thanks, Whit. He sent me that. So, yes, but hey, Allen's right. To get the first two games, if they do make the playoffs, they would be playing in Allentown that first weekend.
Yeah.
And that's great for us. That's a home.
Oh, yeah. No, can you imagine the Penn State fans that'll, well, for one thing, drive up the ticket prices, but also, yes, that'll be a very hot ticket, and a lot of folks will undoubtedly make the trip and be there to support this remarkable turnaround season. And again, it has a chance to go down as one of the all-time special seasons in really college hockey history. So, it'll be fun to see again. It all starts this Friday night, 7:00. Penn State needs to get a couple of wins in Ann Arbor to feel comfortable about the prospects for getting into the NCAA championships. And again, if they get in that NCAA tournament, Goon, look out. I think it is a team that can make a whole lot of noise here this season. And again, good luck to the women's team. They'll play for the AHA championship Saturday afternoon at 2:00 against Mercyhurst. And much the same thing, Goon. I think that Penn State team on the women's side also has a chance to be right there at the end of the day and one of the final four teams standing with the way they're playing here down the stretch. And much the same thing, a very talented roster. They're playing with a ton of confidence now. And I think they know what it is they need to do to be successful. And they've obviously been consistently going out and doing exactly that throughout the course of the season. So best of luck to both Penn State hockey teams here this weekend. Again, Penn State Wrestling, the seeds will come out the pre-seeds will come out tomorrow. I'm not expecting there's going to be much change from the pre-seeds to the actual seeds. There really has been very little movement on that with the coaches' meetings in recent years. I think most coaches are it's just not how they want to spend their energy, is getting worked up about whether a kid is seated one spot higher or lower than they think they should be. Every now and then, again, it's like, man, really think this one should be this way, and you take a vote, and if the majority say, yep, we agree with you, you change it. But they pretty much have it down. The one that is interesting to me is 149, and I most of the projections I've seen, and I think they're right, is Ridge Levitt will have the 1 seed, Shane Van Ness the 2 seed, and Kyle Parko the 3 seed. The interesting thing about it is this season it's been kind of a round robin where they've each knocked each other off. So Levitt beat Van Ness beat Parko, and Parko beat Levitt. And so they all have one loss. They all have a win against one of the other two and a loss against one of the other two. So it's one of those kind of coin flip situations. I think in this particular case, while it is determined on this season, again, there's really nothing to choose from there this season. And so Lovett, as the returning Big Ten champion, I think that is the default there and why you would seed him 1. And then I think if that is the case, he is 1, then Van Ness almost has to be the 2 seed because his only loss was to Lovett, and then he beat Parco, and so Parco would have to be the 3 seed. Now, again, you can make an argument for any one of those 3 being the 1 seed and for any one of those 3 being the 3 seed. I think most of the projections have it right. I do think it'll be Lovett, Van Ness, and then Parco. And other than that, to me, Goon, it seems pretty clear cut. Again, there's a couple of spots there where you could make an argument one way or the other on a particular seed, but I think it looks pretty solid. The Penn State will have 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, and I really think they'll have the 2 4 seeds. I think both Lillidahl and Davis will be a 4 seed. I know I've seen some projections that have Davis as a 5 or a 6 seed. I don't say. I think he's a 4 seed, and I think both he and Lillidahl are pretty well, in my mind at least, locked in. Now we'll see how it plays out when the pre-seeds come out tomorrow. But the fact that you have 4 1 seeds, assuming this is right, and I think it is, 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, and 2 4 seeds. And again, the top 7 at least at each weight class get automatic bids to the NCAA's. Most weight classes, it's 8 or more that they're taking. So you feel very good about Penn State's chances of taking all 10 to Philadelphia. And I think for Lillidahl and Davis, this is a real opportunity for them to bump up their seeding for the NCAA tournament. Both, if they are 4 seeds, will have a chance to take on, obviously, the number 1 seed at their weight if they get to the semifinals. And I think they're both capable of knocking off the 1 seed. And certainly if you do that, then again, it changes probably pretty substantially, really in both of their cases. But I think in Lillidahl's in particular, he can really change his seeding for the better here with a strong showing at the Big Ten championship. So all of that fun again gets underway on Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And I think, Penn State obviously is a prohibitive favorite to win the Big Ten team title and to get all 10 through to Philadelphia. I think the fun of it, though, is going to be seeing some of these matches where, you maybe don't really know for sure how this thing is going to play out. And thinking of a Greg Kirklead against a Gable Steveson. And again, Kirklead has nothing to lose. Let's go out, have some fun, see what you can do against one of the all-time legends in the sport. I think, Josh Barr getting another opportunity to wrestle Cardenas he will in the semifinals if they both win. I mean, Barr will be the 2 seed and Cardenas the 3 seed. I think that is going to be a terrific college wrestling match. I think the opportunity then for Barr to get another crack at Buchanan would be very welcomed, and it'll be interesting to see what both do in terms of adjustments from the first time around if they get that opportunity. And I think, Van Ness potentially getting another shot at Parco in the semifinals, and then another opportunity to knock off Rich Lovett potentially in the finals. Tyler Kasak has not an easy path, but I think a manageable road to get to the finals. And it'll be interesting to see at 157 whether Ethan Miller, to me, I know Miller's the 1 seed and Ja'Cory Teamer of Iowa will likely be the 4 seed. I think really Teamer is the favorite there in that bout. I will be interested to see if Miller can beat Teamer. Then Kasak gets a chance to avenge his only loss, which was by injury default with the concussion in that Maryland duel. But, seeing how that plays out at 157, I think is going to be a really interesting watch here for Penn State as well. And obviously you have the likelihood of a Bartlett Mendez rematch again at 141. And you can sign me up to watch that bout anytime, anywhere. And I just think it's a coin flip bout. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, obviously, each time. And I think every time they meet, it's just it's a 50-50 shot. They're both just elite wrestlers, and I think those two and Andrew Lirez all have an excellent chance of finishing first, second, or third at the NCAA tournament in Philadelphia. So looking forward to the Big Ten Wrestling Championships again getting underway Saturday in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, buddy. I can't wait to the heavyweight match. You know that. I mean, is Kirk Levitt feeling well? Is he back 100%? Do you know? I mean, don't tell me, but hopefully
I think he's feeling very good. And again, Stevenson obviously is an exceptionally talented wrestler, just different level. It'll take something exceptional to beat him, but I do think Ray Kirkfleet's an exceptional wrestler in his own right, and I think his skill set is very unique and very, very special. And again, I really don't think there's anybody else that can beat Stevenson. And I'm certainly not guaranteeing anything, but if somebody is going to beat Stevenson, it pretty much is Kirkfleet. Now, whether or not he's closed the gap, I've had a couple people ask me this week. It's like, how much do you think he's closed the gap? I have no idea. I mean, I've watched Stevenson on television a few times. I've been really impressed. I really thought it would take him. I was not expecting him to look as good as he has this year, at least not right out of the gate. But I saw one of his early season matches, and I'm like, man, he looks, if anything, better than when we last saw him a couple of years ago. Just his movement, his conditioning, I mean, everything. He is just really, really good. And he just has such an unbelievable flow to him where he just keeps that pressure on. And he's so doggone powerful, so explosive. And again, I think Kirkfleet is all of those things as well, though. And so, again, I give Kirkfleet a fighting chance. Stevenson is certainly the favorite for a reason. But I'm curious to see what the approach is if we do see that match, and I think we will, in the Big Ten finals, and then what adjustments both wrestlers make regardless of the outcome in the Big Ten championships when the NCAA tournament rolls around. And again, I am projecting that those two will meet again in the NCAA finals. Obviously, both will have work to do to get there in both weekends, but I certainly am expecting that those are the finals we will see in both the Big Tens and the NCAAs, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know that Stevenson looks at it as though he has any real pressure either. I think he's just doing this because he loves the sport, loves having fun with it. But I really don't think there's any pressure on Kirkfleet either. I mean, I think the overwhelming majority of folks are expecting it and kind of just a given that Stevenson will win. So to me, if you're Greg Kirkfleet, you already have a national title, so nobody's taking that away. And you have a chance now to go out and shock the wrestling world and just go out and have fun with it and see what you can do. But I think Greg just needs to trust his talent, because his talent is good enough that he can go toe-to-toe with even the likes of a Gable Stevenson. He just has to trust it. And then you just got to find a way, though, to score. And that's much easier said than done. I'm not sure. I've had a couple people ask, too, well, what's the game plan there? Game plan is to go try to score points. And again, that's a lot easier said than done. I mean, Greg is exceptionally good on top. but it's hard to envision Greg or anybody holding down Stevenson for very long. As Stevenson, again, he's just so thick in those thighs and in his lower body. Really hard to be able to break somebody like that down. And of course, the nice thing for Kirklead is he does have the only individual to beat Stevenson in collegiate wrestling available to talk to and go over things, albeit earlier in his career, Stevenson's career. But of course, Anthony Cassara has the only 2 collegiate wins over Gabe.
Are you reading my mind?
He's still in that room and working
what
out.
What year was that?
Penn State kids. Would have been, oh my gosh, 19.
That was my next question. It's crazy that you brought Cassar up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. What's that?
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. What Cassar's 2 wins over Stevenson are 2 of the great wins in Penn State history. I mean, they really are, because when Stevenson came out of high school, there were immediately, and by the way, and with reason, it wasn't like, come on, this guy's overhyped. But there were a number of projections. It's like, this guy is going to join. Cale Sanderson is undefeated 4-year national champions. Like, there's no way anybody's going to stop him. He's just such a freak and a phenom and all of it. And for the most part, they were right. He was and is a very, very special wrestler. But Anthony Cassar was just on an absolute mission, and it really was amazing to
say it, Jeff. He was on a vision quest.
See those matches.
It was a vision quest, Bubba.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see if and when those 2 do meet up here, Kirklead and Stevenson. That is, to see how things shake out.
Hey, the Japanese kid who beat Spencer last week.
Yeah,
Oho. Okay. Does he have ties to Penn State? Does he have ties to Penn State?
Yeah. He worked out with the wrestling club to prepare for it. Yep.
Did I hear he's like 24 or 25 years old, that he might be coming to Penn State as a wrestler?
Not coming to Penn State as a wrestler, but yeah, I think that's about right on the age front.
Okay, but he's somebody told me that he's wrestling in the wrestling club. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But they said he still has 4 years of eligibility left. And I'm like, come on, man.
Well, I mean,
25-year-old kid.
Yeah, he probably hasn't competed collegiately. I don't know that that's in his plans. I think he's pretty fired up on the international.
He's on the world stage now, right? So he's But somebody was telling me that. I'm like, come on, dude. Really? 24, 25 years old, coming in as a freshman? Already as a world champion type of thing. Like, holy crap.
We'll take
seems like Stevenson's Gable. It seems like he's been there 10. I know it's not 8-10 years. I mean, when was he? I mean, it's just amazing to me. But I guess that he really is. In my 8 years of being in the wrestling, following wrestling very, very closely, 10 years is. I guess that's about the time that he started coming in as a young guy and stuff like that. Yeah, but he is such a game changer. And you're right. When he came in and everybody was like, oh, well, but it was well-deserved. I mean, the guy was legit. I have never seen, nor I don't think I will ever see, a guy of his size run on a mat and do a backflip.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just pure freaking explosion and athleticism.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
He is a special talent. There's no question about that. Take a break here. You were listening to the. What's that?
What's his? What I mean, honestly, as a competitor, we see he's very good. But as a human being, is he a good guy? Do you know? Have you met him?
Yeah.
Have you talked to him? Good guy, like down to earth type of thing.
met him very briefly, but yeah, no, he's done great work as an ambassador for the sport and for the community. Take a break here. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show on Sports Radio 98.7.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox, the Goon and Ironhead.
Oh, those guys. And Saquon Barkley, let you know earlier, 2-year contract extension, which I got to tell you, Goon, this makes a lot of sense on both sides, right? 2 years, like Saquon is obviously on top of his game right now, but running backs can decline quickly. So it's a 2-year deal, but it's worth $20 million, which makes him the over $20 million, makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history. And of course, coming off the amazing season he had with the highlights and the Super Bowl. And again, he's running behind a great offensive line, which he is very unaccustomed to having. And so this just has to feel like Christmas over and over for Saquon Barkley because, again, he just never had
a
great offensive line at Penn State. Certainly didn't have it with the Giants. Now has it, realizes the dream of winning a Super Bowl, and is able to cash in here personally and knows that, well, presumes, knows that he has a very good chance to be on a team that'll be contending anyway for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to run it back next year, I think. But I mean, is this an extension or is this just a straight? I think he's already on the contract for a couple more years.
Yeah,
extends it. So
yeah, the extension is worth let's see, $41.2 million per season. So he's the first running back to go over the $20 million a year threshold, and all but $5 million of it, according to ESPN, is fully guaranteed, which is also not so much the norm. He can also earn an additional $15 million in incentives, and he earned a ton of incentives this past season. So, yeah, he now is locked in with the Phillies through the 2028 season. So 3 more years. The upcoming 3 years is what he's now signed on to with this 2-year extension with
that's an ownership thing. Jeffrey Lurie is all about getting that money guaranteed up front, which is what the players want. And I understand it. I get it.
Well, and especially at a spot like running back, Goon, like that's kind of critical.
And the thing is that Howie Roseman, he gets guys on contracts early, like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. He signed them to like longer contracts, but by the end of those contracts, they're not really a super high paid player, but they're very, very happy to start with. And I think with the success that Howie and the Eagles have had, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more teams doing that, and that but you have to have the culture around that too, so that there's just not guys going in there again, like I talked about earlier, going in, getting that guaranteed money, and then just bolting like LBJ was notorious for, in my opinion. That's how I thought about OBJ. Sorry, Odell Beckham Jr. I said LBJ. Yeah, OBJ was he was beholden when somebody else got more money than him. He didn't want to play anymore until he got a new contract. So I think that the culture in the Eagles is working right now, very much so. I mean, the whole core is back next year. I know they got rid of Slay. They just cut him yesterday, and I believe they cut somebody else today. But that's just, he's 34 years old playing defensive back, so it's just a matter of time. So you've heard me say it enough times, buddy. I was an avid anti-Howie Roseman guy years ago, but now I got to eat a lot of crow and say he's done a hell of a job. I mean, he's the best GM in the business right now, and people are going to start acting like how, like they had the Chiefs for a couple of years there, and then the Patriots way. It's now going to start becoming the Eagles way of how they're dealing with players and then the culture that they have in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's they have it rolling right now. There's no doubt about it. And again, the thing that they have done a really good job of is finding the right fits for what they need with this team. And it starts up front, Goon. And quarterback is obviously the single key position to building a Super Bowl franchise. But a very close second that I think gets overlooked by too many organizations is that offensive line. Because if
line. I mean, they build both sides of that line.
Well, that would be the next. I would say the offensive line is first and foremost because you need to protect that key player. And then, yes, next behind that is the defensive line and being able to disrupt opposing offensive lines and opposing great quarterbacks, which we certainly saw the Eagles do in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. So
Ironhead, hold on. There's not 6'9", 400-pound rugby players from Australia just growing off of trees that are going to get picked in the 7th round and turned in. Do you know that Malati, he was ranked the number 3 player in the NFL?
There should be. There should be such a tree. And it should be planted in Pittsburgh. Is
unbelievable, dude. I mean, that to me is unbelievable. You take a guy who has never put his hand in the dirt and you teach him how to play football, and 4 years later, he's the 3rd ranked player in the whole NFL. That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Yeah. No,
then you have your Lane Johnson, who was a 4 overall pick. So I get it. He was the high, but he's a Hall of Famer. So they're your bookend tackles right there. You got one in the 7th round who was an afterthought to anybody. And then you have Lane Johnson, the 4th overall pick 12 years ago, who's still playing at a high rate. And then you fill in between, and then, then the whole defensive line, you just go down to Georgia and just sign Georgia football players.
That's all you got to do.
Jeez Louise, man.
They've got a pretty good track record, and listen, it is going to be interesting to see with the NFL draft this year exactly where Abdul Carter does end up going, along with the other Penn Staters, but Abdul in particular. And listen, Tyler Warren, Goon, I got to tell you, I think that guy is going to have himself an NFL career and then some. Wherever he goes, and I don't pretend to know where a top tight end should go and relative value and all that. I'm just telling you, whoever ends up with Tyler Warren is going to be really, really happy they have him on their roster. And I do think that guy, I think whatever NFL team gets him, Goon, would be wise to look at what Penn State did with him. And I'm not saying you need to incorporate everything. I'm not saying you have to have him snap the ball and then go down and catch a touchdown pass. But I do think you'd be smart, man. Like, this guy can do a lot of different things and pose a lot of different matchup opportunities for your offense. Let's take advantage of that. So I'm really curious to see how all of these guys obviously fare when they get into the NFL. But I feel like you already know how Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren are going to fare. It's just, who are they going to be performing for, and how upset am I going to be by who they are doing it for? Because I don't want to see them with, like, Ravens, Cowboys, the usual suspects. Please. Micah Parsons to the Cowboys is just, it's been tough. Really, really tough, man. Like, because I love Micah, and I really despise the Cowboys. So I just hope they go to organizations that I can root for them. Be nice if one of them goes to the Dolphins, which is my kiddo's team. And it'd be nice if the other just, for no apparent reason, goes to the Steelers, which I don't think is going to happen, but would be fun.
Well, the one thing is that Abdul, with the stress fracture in his foot that got discovered, and the next day he said they need surgery, and then a day later they said he doesn't need surgery. So a stress fracture in your foot, to the people that are listening out there, it's not that. It's a couple month rehab, two months rehab, this and that. It's just putting the screw in there, put the bone tight up, pull the pin out, you're good to go. So a guy like that, it's not going to affect it. Get it done now if you're going to do it. I don't personally think that's going to affect his draft status. I know Abdul has said I'm the number one player in the country, so I should be the number one player drafted. I love the attitude, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that Cam Ward is going to go 1 overall personally. But a guy you're talking about right now in the Cowboys was Sean Lee. Just absolutely killed me watching him play for the freaking Cowboys. It used to drive me absolutely nuts, knowing Sean the way he was and the way kind of kid he was, and it used to just drive me crazy. But, I had a sick dream, and that is that the Eagles move up in the draft and take Tyler Warren. I mean, just imagine that. I mean, you go from, you had your Zach Ertz, your Dallas Goedert, and then you go into your Tyler Warren era I mean, that's a pretty good damn. Even before Ertz, you had Brent Selleck, you had Chad Lewis, you had a great tight ends through the years. Steelers too. I mean, I'm not downplaying the Steelers. I mean, he would be lucky to go to either one of those teams, and we would be very happy to have him on our team personally.
Yeah.
But the Abdul thing is just crazy. It's just he is such a game changer, and with Micah, what he's done the last 2 or 3 years is going to make Abdul a lot of money because the number 11, the Penn State stuff, that Micah didn't come out of the draft as this super. I mean, he was LeVar Arrington. He was an outside linebacker who, Dan Quinn said, let's put his hand on the ground and have him making plays. So I think about what if they had done that to LeVar in 2000 and put him at defensive end as the size that he was, just strictly D end. How they have Micah jumping all over the place on D line, rushing the quarterback, not having to read defenses, not having to just get the quarterback. And I think LeVar would have had an unbelievable career that way. But again, I go back. Micah having the ultimate success that he is having right now is going to make Abdul lots of money next month. And we're going to miss the draft again, Jeff.
Absolutely.
We'll be down in Florida.
We will indeed.
Damn it, we'll be in Florida.
Tough life that we lead. What are you going to do?
I'm so upset, Jeff. I don't know what to do.
Real quick, Goon, your thoughts on the blue-white game, or I guess more accurately, blue-white weekend, and what should be done there? Because the more we've been kind of kicking around on the morning show a little bit, and I'm seeing some other discussions. I just wonder if just having some sort of competitive events, not in pads, but just kind of a fun day where you can maybe scale some things too, where there's some things where it's like $5 you get in and you get to watch the main stuff, and then incrementally for X amount of money you get to then have a half-hour BS session with a group of the players or whatever. So you can make it a fundraising event, but still allow the connection to the everyday fan, and maybe get away from the football-driven component. I don't know. To me,
are you saying get rid of the football because of the timing? Because of how close are you saying get rid of the football game because of the timing of we just played a game in mid-January and you only had we had 2 weeks or 3 weeks of conditioning, and then we're starting to practice?
I think most schools are getting away from it altogether, just with the interest in other schools poaching your talent and all of it. We have several teams that aren't.
Do you think that's happening?
Spring
I know Matt Rule.
Nebraska's not even doing a spring game.
I think that's BS. I really truly do, because if I want a copy of a Nebraska spring game, we can get it. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what exactly it is. It's a weird thing that Matt said that he feels as if his players were being poached because of their spring game performance. I mean, come on.
I think coaches in general are going to be shying away from having the spring games per se. And I think having an event on that weekend from an NIL perspective may be a better way to go, even from a fan perspective. I mean, the blue-white weekend is an event, but and football is the reason that folks are coming in. But I think if you have the opportunity to, again, see the players in a different environment, I think fans are going to be just as maybe more likely to come back and enjoy the weekend, because I think the weekend is more about getting together with fellow Penn State fans than it is the actual, I got to see this blue-white game and how it unfolds. Like that's not. It's the reason that people come back, but it's not the driving force of the weekend. It's just the excuse that people have to come back. And I think if you did it as, again, maybe get some of the other sports teams involved and do, obstacle courses or, some sort of fun relay race. I mean, I think there's a bunch of different ways you could do it, but I think you could make it a really fun weekend for fans. Make it a fundraising weekend without making it unaffordable to the folks who rely on coming to the free blue-white game as their only opportunity to see in-person Penn State football. I think you can still keep that element still there for the everyday fans, if you will, but there would be opportunities again to incrementally get more involved.
I'm not a fan of
how this evolves.
I'm not a fan of the players, of the coaches thinking they're being poached, but I completely get while schools are wanting to get away from the blue-white game or their spring game, they're still going to have spring football. That's where the crux of the whole matter is they still have to have 15 practices because I don't know if you watched that episode of me and Landon doing the cigars like 2 weeks ago or whatever, but I was talking about it like my blue-white game, my true freshman year, was the first football game, like game environment, my own jersey, playing, with a clock, with score, with referees, since the Big 33 game. So for the younger guys, it means so much because you are playing football again, and it's the reason why we're here. But by your junior and senior year, you want nothing to do with the blue-white game because it's a younger kid's game, and then maybe that's what they get down to, and have your D League play the D squad or the foreign team, whatever the heck they're calling them now. But have those guys on it. But me and Landon were talking, and then he brings up, dude, he goes, my senior year was COVID. I didn't have a senior year. I went two years without playing in a football game, and I was like, man, that stinks. So there are pluses and minuses to it, but I mean, you know me, how my mind works. And I'm like sitting there, I'm already getting a text message ready to text James and to Franklin and saying, yeah, have the wide world of sports out there. You know what I mean? Have the bench press competition, but then bring in the other sports would be fantastic. A long drive competition, a home run competition, a softball game. One is you're not going to get players hurt. You're treating them competitively. The fans are going to love it. I really think that it'll be a good time, and there's a lot they could do.
Yeah, there is, and I think you could make it, a series of things over the course of the weekend. I don't know, a lot of different possibilities there. I'll be curious to see how this thing evolves in the coming years.
We better hurry up because we got flights to Florida, Jeff. Come on now.
I hear you loud and clear, and I am ready for said flights. Folks, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a good Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday with another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. Until then, be good and be safe.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXX, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7.